Hello, my name is Jean Cook. I am the West Regional Coordinator for the Helen Rufford Reading Bowl, and this is a video that will demonstrate how the bowl is going to work for the moderators, for the teams, the coaches, and the players for the West Regional Bowl for 2022. Okay, so the first place you're going to want to know is libguides.westga.edu/HRRB. That is the official site for the bowl, and it's going to have all of the information and links that you will need to make this bowl run. We are going to be using two different technologies to make this bowl run. The first is Zoom. We will have one Zoom classroom link that everyone will use, but they will spend most of their time switching between different break rooms in that one classroom. We'll demonstrate how that works. As well as every student will also have either a new window or a different device. A lot of people like to use like Zoom on their computer and then have their phone or a tablet available where they will be buzzing in using a system called buzzin.live. So to begin with, all of our volunteers, our moderators, console judges, timekeepers, so on, will log in by 8:30 a.m. on February 12th. All of our teams should be in with all of their teams by 9 a.m. promptly to begin our first round. And everyone is going to go to our main website, and there will be a Zoom meetings link. And this link will be active. It also has the meeting ID and passcode for everyone to get into the room. But you are going to click on the Zoom link for the Regional Bowl. And I'm going to go ahead and launch this in the browser. But if you have the Zoom client on your computer, you can open it there. But I'm just going to join from the browser. And we are asking people to identify themselves by who they are. So for instance, the EPHS coach might identify themselves as EPH coach Jim. If you are the first student on the EPHS team, you might be EPHS 1 Tanya, or EPHS 5 Johnny, or whatever your name is, and then go ahead and join the meeting. And this is going to get you into our main meeting room. You can join your audio by computer and your webcam and all this stuff. You might want to practice with Zoom beforehand to make sure your setup works. And you are going to join a breakout room. So how do you know where to go, which breakout room to get into? So on this Zoom meeting links, the volunteers will be assigned to individual rooms. So you'll just find your name and figure out which room you're supposed to be in, as well as our teams will be assigned to rooms for each of the different ones. So for example, if this is round 1 and you are from Campbell Middle School, you will go to breakout room 6. If you are Ragsdale Elementary School, you will go to breakout room 3. So here you will see breakout rooms, and you can choose to join whatever breakout room you're assigned to. So we will go ahead and join room 3. Also in the breakout rooms, you'll see that the breakout room 1 is going to be the one that I sort of hang in out as coordinator. It's also where our volunteers will meet at 8:30 and be assigned rooms if they're not already assigned rooms. That's just basically we're all going to gather together at about 8:30. Please check in by 8:40 at the latest so we can make sure all of our rooms have coverage with enough volunteers. Once you're in the room, if you need to rename yourself, if you've got people who are switching between rounds or whatever, you can click on participants and then more and rename yourself as EPHS 1 or Ragsdale Elementary School 1 or whatever indicator you have. You can call yourself RES Coach Veronica or whoever you are. You'll be able to see everybody else who's in there. You'll also want to open the chat. And the chat is where we will talk about challenges, we'll communicate the final scores, and the buzzin.live room links. Moderators, you'll basically have a script that is on our volunteer page. If you are a moderator, I recommend that you print this out beforehand and review it. And console judges, you have your own set of instructions that you will be doing while the moderator is setting up the round and preparing and reading the first round. So console judges, you will also come to this volunteer information page. We have explicit instructions on how to use buzzin.live. So you're going to open buzzin.live, and you are going to create a game and then use a key, and I will assign a key to each of the different, I will assign a key to each of the different breakout rooms, and you will use that key to create the room. Then you will follow settings, and again, explicitly on the sheet of paper, it says exactly like what settings should look like. So you are going to choose show teams, show points, allow them to self-join the teams. We have, this might be set at 1, but you can set it to 10 points because that's what everything is incremented as. We want 1 buzz-in only. We allow buzzing devices. You can choose pop or whatever sound you would like. If you want to play with that, you can play with that. You're going to play a buzz on the first buzz only. We only want 1 player. We want to not show the player points on each person because it doesn't matter which person is actually answering. It's team points only. And then we're not choosing to use the timer here, so you can not show the timer on the player devices. That's fine. The timer kind of adds a layer of chaos to it. It's 10 seconds is after each question that they have to buzz in. I honestly, you can kind of even just like count it out in your head. If they haven't gotten it by 8 or 9 seconds, they're probably not going to get it by 10. So some people like to just do 1. And you can just sort of call time at 10 seconds. You close settings to get this to close the settings, and then you can add teams to your score to your round down here under add teams. So if this is Ragsdale Elementary School, you can type Ragsdale, and they are going to be going up against we'll say Carrollton Elementary School. And so once you've set those settings up, you only have to do that once. You can copy the game code and say, hi, I'm the console judge. I'm opening up our Zoom and I put in the game code down here. So all of our students will then take that and they will also go to buzzin.live and they will choose join game and they will enter that code. So the code was 820058 or whatever the number is, and their name is Johnny, and they joined the thing. And so they will be able to see, to join a team if you've created the teams as the setup, and they will also be able to buzz in. So once you see all of the teams in here, and again, I'll have another student just so you can see what it looks like. Join game, we'll call this person 8200, what was it, 8558, and this person is Snookers. So Snookers joins in, and it turns out they're part of Ragsdale's team. So now we can see, as you can see, Snooker is also part of this same competition, and so now if I look on the, too many windows open. Now you can see that I've got 2 people buzzed in. And so our moderator, who will spend their time mostly in the Zoom room, will go, okay. A moderator will go, okay. Console judge tells me we're ready. All 10 of our students are in the buzzin.live. They're not buzzed in right now, and they are assigned to their team, so we're ready to begin. So, question number 1. In the book, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, who is Harry Potter's best friend? And Snooker buzzes in. Woo, go Snooker. So you can see that it immediately shows that Snooker buzzes in. If Johnny tries to buzz in after Snooker, okay, I feel a bit silly about these names. Where's Johnny? Too many windows open. Where did Johnny go? Too many windows open. It will show that Johnny is actually locked. He cannot buzz in anymore. And so it will go, the console judge will be able to say, okay, I see Snooker buzzed in from Ragsdale. Snooker, can you please unmute yourself in Zoom? And so click unmute and unmute yourself in Zoom and please give us your answer. And so Snooker will answer, oh, I think it's Hermione Granger. But it turns out Snooker was too fast on the buzz. The question wasn't over. So the moderator says incorrect. I'll ask the question for the other team. Then our console judge will hit clear buzzers. And now if I go back to Johnny's screen, you can see that now Johnny is able to buzz in again. And so Johnny's going to listen for the full question because now we're only going to answer the question for the Carrollton Elementary School team. Moderator says, okay, for the Carrollton Elementary School team only, make sure that you clear those buzzers so that everybody can answer. In the book Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, who is the best friend of Harry Potter? And Johnny goes, who's the best friend of Harry Potter who lives with a wizarding family? And Johnny goes, I know that. He buzzes in. All right, well, now it's locked. He's buzzed in. And our console judge sees that Johnny buzzed in, so he goes, okay, Johnny from Carrollton Elementary School, can you please unmute in Zoom and give us your answer? So Johnny unmutes and he says, well, that one is Ron Weasley. And the moderator goes, correct, for 10 points. So our console judge / scorekeeper can add +1 to Johnny. And you'll see down here that now Carrollton Elementary School has 10 points. The big deal is to make sure that you give the +10 to the person who answered it correctly. And before you start asking any question, you always clear the buzzers. So the first time you ask a question, any of the 10 students can answer. If one team gets it wrong, you clear the buzzers, ask the question again in its entirety for the second team. At the end of the game, after 10 questions, you will have a score. So the console judge will say, okay, our final score was Carrollton 10 and Ragsdale 50. Coaches, can you both in the Zoom chat please enter yes to agree to that score? And then once they've agreed to that score, our scorekeeper / console judge will come over to the score submission form and they will fill out, we're in room 3, Ragsdale got 10, and Carrollton got 50. And they'll input that and they'll send it to me. The big deal is to make sure that you reset buzzin.live before you clear these buzzers, before you start answering any questions. Oh, one more thing, I should have said this way earlier, but one more thing for our console judges is at the end of each round, you can erase your teams by getting rid of the teams down here, as well as click on settings, and you can remove all players, and you can remove all points. And so that way you keep the same basic meeting room open the whole time, and you don't have to keep going back and resetting these settings back to like one buzz only every single time. You can just give this same game code to the round 2 people and add in whatever the teams are for, Fairfield, Round High School, or whatever the 2 teams are, and go from there. You do this for 10 questions. At the end of 10 questions, it's okay if there's a tie. We add up all of the questions at the end of the game, at the end of 6 or 7 rounds, depending on which division you're in. High school, because there's only 6 teams, will have 5 rounds of 12 questions each. Middle school has 7 teams, an odd number, so they will have 7 rounds with a bye round for each team, but 7 rounds of 10 questions each. And elementary school will have 6 rounds of 10 questions each, but each team will have the chance to answer 60 questions total against another round. It's very important you stay in your breakout room when the round is over. So you're going to confirm the score. The coach is going to say, yes, that's correct. The scorekeeper is going to submit that in. And then once I get all of the scores from the division, so like all of the middle schools are done, I will tell the middle school moderators, okay, we're ready to move on to round 2 for the middle school rounds. So how do you make sure you know where to go for round 2? Again, on that Zoom meeting link, you'll look down here, you'll say, I'm Ragsdale. I go to breakout room, this is a bad example, but I'll say I'm Britt David. I go to breakout room 4 for round 2. So I go to breakout room, choose breakout rooms, and I go over to room 4, and I join room 4. If you're already renamed yourself, your ID number should all be the same. If you are switching out teammates between rounds, you can choose, again, participants more and rename yourself to call yourself whatever your new ID number is. Again, the coaches should identify themselves by school and title. The students should identify themselves by school and number. If you have only the 5 active students should identify themselves as their school and their number. If you have extra students, they are free to log in to watch, but they should remain muted and quiet the entire time. If there is a challenge at any given point, you can open up your chat and you can type in challenge down here and be recognized. If you need to speak up, you can unmute yourself and speak up, but we should be able to spot the challenge down there. The moderators will try to deal with that challenge depending on what the challenge is. They might want to ask the question for the other team to get their answer before and see if that matches if the answer on the page. A lot of times everybody on the thing has read the book, so sometimes you can come up to a quick agreement in the room. If not, the moderators will have my contact information. I will have a copy of all of the books, and they can contact me and tell me what the problem is. They will mute the room and then contact me and tell me what the problem is, and I will make the final judgment on who gets the points for that question, or if it should be thrown out and an extra question should be asked. Again, we're going to do that for 5, 6, 7 rounds, depending on the division. And then finally, at the end of the bowl, I will add up all of the points. We'll see if there's a tiebreaker round needed. There will be no ties for second or first place. There are trophies for second or first place in each division, and the first place team from each division will go on to our state finals on March, let's say 19th. They will also be a virtual bowl for the teams. The main administrators might all get together at a conference, but the teams will not be expected to travel. They will be participating virtually in a system very, very similar to the one that we're using now. I know it seems kind of complicated because I was trying to demonstrate both the volunteer view and the student view, but for most students, they're just going to open up Zoom in their computer and then have a phone and go on the browser on the phone to buzzin.live. If they played Jackbox games or Kahoot in their classrooms, they've used a system very similar to this. It's very intuitive. And I think by the time we get to round 2 or 3, most of the students will have this down pat pretty easily. We have a schedule that I would like to stay somewhat close to, but if we get ahead of schedule or slightly behind, that's okay. Each round will be moving on as soon as all of the teams in that round have finished those 10 questions. So typically we expect to be done somewhere between noon and 1, and that just depends on all sorts of technical, hopefully no technical issues, but just if there are challenges and things like that. That's it. If you are curious about the bowl, the rules, and all of that stuff, please carefully review our website. Again, that's westga.edu. That's libguides.westga.edu/HRRB. And of course, you can send me individual questions at westhrrb@gmail.com. I am desperate for volunteers, so especially volunteers who feel comfortable being a console judge or a moderator. Everybody's going to have to be one of those two things.